Good morning, everybody. I'm Dan Dallas. I'm the forest supervisor for the Rio Grande National Forest. What I'm going to do is, in kind of chronological order, time-ordered sequence, tell you what we've been through here and how we've stayed very interested because with Phil's concept here and why you folks are important. And we hope that you'll stick with Phil here and see this thing through to whatever it becomes. So I'll start back about 2007. I showed up here. As far as the status of this forest, we were at the kind of the start of losing what has now become basically our whole, every mature spruce tree on this forest is, for all intents and purposes, dead. We were at the start of an epidemic, what became an epidemic that ultimately killed our whole mature spruce forest, which is about, what, half, Kevin? Third to a half of the acreage of the forest. Phil needed a place to work, and I needed him to get to work. And I said, well, you go first, and then so we finally, what happened, this pig's eye that you'll see later on today is actually a timber sale that we sold, or we attempted to sell. It did not sell. I used the discretion I had working with Roy's predecessor, basically, in our state and private, and we developed this thing called proof of concept. And that's what you'll see later today. Basically, we directly sold it to Phil's limited liability company. And then he's gone through and's got this wood innovations grant, and he's trying to prove the concept.
I administer a grant program for the Forest Service in Arizona and Mexico called the Wood Innovation Grant Program that is paying for a lot of the work that Phil's doing to kind of study this concept, this cooperative concept and utility as a way to accelerate the pace and scale of restoration. Now, in terms of landscapes, we have 11 national forests in Arizona and Mexico. We have numerous tribal reservations that have forests and woodlands and state private. So I mean, there are opportunities here. Much of Phil mentioned Forest Tribe, much of that is under contract agreement already. But more things are potentially coming online in the region, other national forests. I think the key component for this project, from my standpoint, is the cooperative venture that's being explored, and then how that can maybe unify and make more functional how the transportation systems work, and maybe help us deal with those costs and those efficiencies.
Okay. This is Nate Anderson at the Rocky Mountain Research Station. And again, I'm based in Missoula, Montana, but work on projects all over the place. What we're hoping initially to do with this Pig's Eye project is kind of a model for how research can actually help the National Forest System and private companies like many of you represent get the information that would be useful to improve these supply chains. That's been a big focus, and hopefully that will result in more informed decision making and better decisions, and honestly more profit, more lower costs, higher productivity, and more profit across the supply chain to everybody involved.
So Union Pacific Railroad is we've set up with Phil. We set up the Red Star down in Antonito. Several of us went down to Antonito to look at his loadout site that he's working on. We have other areas like near Montrose and Delta. In case he has some cuts that way. We have some out towards Walsenburg and Pueblo, some other alternatives. And as he discussed, we have some up in Nebraska too. So we work with Phil, collaborate with Phil to try and find origins. We're all over the maps with him all the time. He's out there running around, or he always has. I'm surprised half the Forest Service here hasn't run and looked at tracks on Phil's behalf, but he has Nebraska guys doing that. So we're always looking for different options. That's one of the best parts that we like about Phil, being a collaborator with us, is he's not just cognizant of his pocketbook how much money he's going to have. He thinks a lot as like a railroader, and he's trying to figure out for us how we can keep our costs the best so we can offer him the best price.
Yeah, the other thing I'd say, if we're looking at a co-op type thing, just to take a co-op times 2, we're going to stretch it out even further. It's one of our biggest things. If we're moving, let's say we're moving some log down on the flat car down to the west coast. We got to haul either that car back here, or we have to haul it up to the Pacific Northwest for another load or whatever. How do we figure out with the co-op? Are there any synergies to be able to lower our costs? Maybe there's some stuff in the valley here that cars can come back here with loads from some other product being imported, or into the Denver market up. That's a great consumer market, and then we just have to shuck the empties down that extra stretch of track between Denver and here. I mean, that's what I would say. If you're thinking about co-op, is what other, because that's what co-op is all about, synergies, right?
The possibilities are larger than this room and larger than this forest, and we know that. And that's why we've kind of hung in there. We look at what Phil's vision is as, even if he can change just one of these 2 or 3 dynamics that are at play here, we will have advanced a need that's certainly in the U.S. is less wide. Roy can probably cite you numbers right and left on how big a problem not only spruce bark beetle is here on this forest, but lodgepole, pine beetle, all that kind of stuff. We're basically experiencing a continental level, unprecedented die-off.
That's true. So, why don't we take a minute and do introductions? And you can introduce the 2 that aren't here. Okay, because they both left again.
I'm Dave Schimmer, neighbors right behind me. This is Chris Edmonds. He's with Morbark. He's their general sales manager for those. I'm Power Motive. I represent Morbark in Komatsu, which is Dave Wellman. He's our Komatsu forestry rep.
I'm Phil. Everybody knows me. So,
I'm Roy Maska with the U.S. Forest Service, Rocky Mountain Regional Office, State Plant Forestry.
Kevin Wilkins, San Luis Valley Development Resources Group.
Eric Sorensen, Delta Timber and Landscape Supply. We deal in wood byproducts.
I'm Matt Etzenhauser, U.S. Forest Service, Rocky Mountain Region, Timber Valuation and Stewardship Contracting.
Hi, good morning. My name is Tom Onkel, Regional Economist, U.S. Forest Service.
My name is Jacques Wright. I own a logging company here locally, and I've gone in with Phil as a partner.
Frank Forlini, Union Pacific Railroad Business Development.
Kevin Dudall with the Rio Grande National Forest, the TMA on the Divide Ranger District.
Tom Malachek, I'm with the Rio Grande National Forest Deputy Forest Supervisor.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Dan Dallas. I'm the Forest Supervisor for the Rio Grande National Forest.
Zeke Ward, retired part-time consultant.
Hi, this is Courtney Berner. I'm Corporate Development Specialist at DW Center for Cooperative.
This is Gina Lurich. I'm the U.S. Forest Service Regional Office Biomass Utilization Program Manager.
My name is Dave Anderson. I'm a research forester with the Rocky Mountain Research Station. I'm based in Missoula, Montana, but I work all up and down the Rockies. And my study area is solid wood product supply chains and biomass and bioenergy.
Southwestern Regional Office Forest Service Biomass Coordinator is my position.
This is Jenna Mackey. I'm with the Union Railroad, and I do our forest product market.
Brenda Tallman with Commerce Business Development Public.
Hello, this is Ed Chase with the U.S. Forest Service Wood Education Resource Center, which is within the northeastern area of State Climate Forestry.
I am both with the Ecological Restoration Institute at Northern Arizona University and involved in the Forest Restoration Initiative.
This is Steve Horner with Campbell Global in Flagstaff, Arizona. We're currently involved in a stewardship agreement with the Nature Conservancy here in Northern Arizona. Mike McConville, San Luis Rio Grande.
Don Peterson, Forest Product Specialist under contract with
marketing unit.
That's it? Okay, thank you all for coming.